Jesus, hot one today, guys. Look what's just turned up. The Sabvoton controller. So this is the new one. If you've been watching the other videos, you'll know what's been going on here, what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for this new one, this new test sample to turn up. And yeah, so let's take a look. I've sort of just unboxed it. It came in a big box and I just took all this stuff out. But I haven't really had a proper look yet. So, right, so let's start with this little small box here. So we've got, this is the thing that's actually exciting about the whole thing. This is the Tft Screen. So this is basically a new thing, which is, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's very, very slim. It's a nice looking bit of kit. It's going to look pretty awesome on here, I reckon. I think it might even look better than that. So you've got a connector here, which obviously, you know, that's just the main connection for it. And then this sort of, I don't know, I think this is how you basically must go through the settings on it. So that's that. I'm going to leave the protective film on there for the minute. Bunch of bits and pieces in here. That's the USB Bluetooth adapter in there. So that's what you use to program it with a smartphone. Just some screws to screw the thing together. Just fix this on the handlebars, I think. Right, in the other box were these brake levers. I don't know about these. Actually, they don't feel too bad, you know. They're cable though, aren't they? So they're not going to be. I'm not going to be able to use them with my hydraulic brakes. But they've got switches on. So if you want to use cable brakes like the Avid stuff, which do actually work pretty well, then you can use those. So twist grip throttle, not bad. I mean, it's not as nice as the Domino one that I've got on here. That's a full twist right the way around. But I'm actually going to give it a go because it isn't bad. It's much better than the old one that used to ship with the Sabvoton stuff. And that's just like a connector. There's 3 pins in there. I think that throttle will work with the Sabvoton controller. But anyway, so that's that. So I'm going to use that. And then you've got this harness. Now, presumably one end just connects to the controller. And then you've got e-brakes, which are for those brake levers there. I'm not going to use them because I've got sensors on my brake levers which do the brake lights. There's no batteries in it at the moment. I'm not going to use them. I'm just going to not bother. And then you've got, I suppose that is for connecting the screen. Yeah, there's a green connector on there as well. And then you've got an orange one as well, which is for the throttle. So that's that. So now for the big boy. So this is the 150 amp one. It's not the biggest one. There is a 200 one available, but these are the ones we're going to be selling at Cloudsday. 150 watt controller. So I'm trying to do this with one hand. So there you go. That is the controller, and this is what I had before I ended up giving it to a mate. What's interesting is the way they've actually started going towards these kind of bit more substantial connectors, I noticed. And that's the USB lead, which where the Bluetooth plugs into, Bluetooth adapter plugs into, and then you've got the main control thing there, lots of pins on there. So it's good that they've started going to these sort of more substantial connectors, a bit more waterproof, still got bare wires there. But I'm probably gonna have to cut these wires off because my system is set up for the adapter, so I'm going to have to cut these connectors off and do a bit of a job. But one thing I like about the Sabvotons is the fact that you've got these proper screw terminals for the power, so you can actually use like ring terminals, and they're never going to come off. You know, that's a really good way of connecting something to the controller. Bullet connectors, oh, I don't know, I don't really like them that much, but this is good. I like this. So pretty exciting stuff. Now I've got to rip this e-bike apart. Right, the adapter's coming out. Right, and I guess this has only taken me about 10 minutes. I've taken the controller off, taken the throttle off, the regen lever. Don't know what I'm going to do about regen yet, I need to have a look. But yeah, you can see it looks starting to look pretty naked now. I've had to just undo one side panel as well, just so I could get some more wires out. But yeah, so we're ready to start the transplant. So this is what I was talking about with the connectors. So on my motor, I soldered on these 4mm connectors, or 5mm connectors, whatever they are. That's for the hall sensors and all of that, temperature sensor. And then this wire coming off here is actually because you can charge through the adapter controller, which I think is a lot of the reason why they have so many problems. But you can basically charge through them. So I've got a charge connector up here, so I'm going to have to disconnect this. It goes through one of the phase connectors, so you can just basically just lose that, and then these will just go straight to the actual... Oh, I'm out of breath. I was just pulling that blooming rubber grip off up there, and it's so hot in here. Anyway, so yeah, I've just got to patch all these wires up and then work out what I'm going to do. Right guys, so just looking at this wiring for the controller, the hall sensors. So this is coming from the motor. So normally you got 3 phase wires, 3 phase hall connectors, or hall wires should I say, and then a positive and a negative to power the system, to power the actual sensors. So that's what we got here, and then this extra white wire here, I think that is the temperature sensor from the motor. I'm pretty sure it is, but I think I might have broken that a long time ago, so I don't think that works anymore. But anyway, we basically got 5 wires here, and then we've got 5 wires on there, so you can see the phase ones, usually blue, green and yellow, and then the positive and the negative on that. But I'm going to have to cut this connector off, which is a bit of a pain, but because I haven't got another one of those on the other side. So that's going to come off. Power connectors, phase wires. So I solder all my crimp connectors because you just really can't crimp those. They're just not gonna stay on with all the vibrations. So I always solder them and they'll be good. So this is where we're at. Basically got everything on here. Put a bit of heat shrink over each one as well, just to make it extra safe. And then all we've got to do is I'm actually just gonna do a bit of a bodge on the hall wires. Just use these little terminal blocks. Everybody kills me for using these, but these have been on here for over a year and they've absolutely no problem at all. No corrosion, nothing. So I'm just going to put these on there for now and then swap them over to proper connectors. If I need to swap over any or change anything, then that just makes it a bit easier to just take the controller out. Probably the best thing to use is probably like little very, very small Anderson connectors, like power pole connectors. That would be probably the best thing to use for these. But this will do for the minute. Right, get in there guys. Controller's on, screen's on, twist grips on there. Done the little control switches things there. I need to sort some of these wires out, and then I just can't push that on, so I was going to have to do something else with that. But yeah, next step's get the battery in, and then just use the batteries here. Just need to connect those up with that harness there, and then we'll fire out and see what happens. Alright, batteries are in. God, this patio is super hot. So I'm going to connect this. Nothing should happen because I've got the circuit breaker on there as well. Alright, moment of truth. Flip the circuit breaker. There are some LEDs on that Sabvoton, and then you've got a power button here. Right, speed controllers come on. Whoa, I'm loving this. Right guys, you've got to check this out. Right, so check this out. So you basically hold this power button down. Nice logo there. I might get our own logo put on there. Look at that. How good is that? Do you see that little thing where it ticked up? Now this is interesting. What I was saying about in the other video, there wasn't a power meter, but on this there actually is. So I think they've already done it. They've already basically programmed it. But this is a nice little sharp display. It's quite viewable in the sunlight as well. It's nice. Right guys, here we go. So basically what I've done is I've just been re-looking at things. What you've got to do is you've got to disconnect. There's basically like a 3-pin connector that comes with it, and it's connected together by default. So you have to disconnect that, and then you have to turn the controller on. Obviously it's on at the moment. And then apparently what you do is you go to your MQ Con app. I don't know if you can see this, it's a bit bright here. And then you basically go, it's already found it, it's already connected. So and you can see that clearly because it's quite bright out here. But so you can see here 83.96 and all the information there. Now before you do anything on that, what you've got to do, it's just gone off. What happens, it seems to time out after a little while, which is, I think, if you're not using the bike, it must be for that reason. So you can just turn it on and then it should come back. Maybe it's best really to do this at this sort of distance, but hey ho, for the sake of the video. So right, so if it's not connecting, you just got to tap that, and then you go to M-Connie motor. That'll open up. Now first thing you've got to do is do your hall tests. Now apparently the best thing to do is to put in a current of like 30 amps, so like a low current, and then run it in test mode, and then your hall test here. So you can actually notice that number there, 242, you can see that number, which will probably change when you start running the hall test. Now tap that, and what should start happening is the wheel will start moving very, very slowly, and that's basically your hall test. So we just got to leave that running for a couple of minutes or something, and then hopefully this bit here will change to test okay. So give it a couple of minutes and see what happens. Right, test is completed. That wasn't even a couple of minutes, that was literally like 1 minute. Test okay. So now you can turn off that, presumably just go back to normal operation there, and now I think you should be good to go. I think I'll probably need to adjust some of these things: throttle voltage, control the temperature, motor temperature, error type fault free. There's loads of settings in here. Yeah, lack voltage, probably needs a bit better of a Chinese conversion to English than that. 40, so I need to set that to 60. Current limiting voltage 42. Over voltage, that looks okay. DC current 150, that looks nice. Boost current 150 amps. Rated phase current 120. Max phase current 350. I don't know how this handles phase current. Protective phase current 450. And then if you can just basically set that phase current really high, but we'll have a play with this, all this. Temperature setting, stop output temperature, recover output temperature, e-brakes. I haven't got e-brakes connected. Do I need to turn that off? E-brake current 20 amps, boost free speed, switch gear, flux weaken enable, flux weaken current, regen enable. Regen's probably going to be your normal regen is probably going to be where you come off the throttle. I would have thought. We can have a play around with all this, but accelerate time 200. I'll have to give this a go, and then we'll just see. Oh no, do you know what? I think I've made a mistake here. I think you've got to save that. You're supposed to save that after. Sorry guys, you're supposed to hit that save button. But this is the first time I've done this, so there you go. Just abandoning the mission because it's so hot. I just need to go and get a cold drink from somewhere. Oh, it says 34 on the screen.
Oh, these seats.
It's too hot, isn't it? That's better. I'm a bit cooler now. Right, so I managed to get it sorted out. Let's put these little things back on. Yeah, I managed to get it sorted out. Managed to get it programmed up, and everything's gone well. So one thing that's different you'll notice is that this key switch doesn't work, because obviously there's no way of having a key switch now, because well, there's just no wire for it. So basically you turn the bike on by holding this button down, and then you get this. It's just so cool. I love it. And I like that as well, the little kind of, the sports car type thing where it goes up. Well, a lot of bikes do that as well, don't they, actually? So everything's set up. I've just kind of, moved it forward a little bit. I'm on power setting 1, and it's, you can see, 80 watts or something like that, just trying to move it off of its stand. And then you've got these buttons here which basically just take you through the different power steps. So like 0 is actually off, so if it's off nothing happens, which is kind of nice. It's like a neutral. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5 levels, getting progressively more bonkers. Now I still need to have a look at how this actually works in the software and how you configure these steps, because it's a bit unclear at the minute exactly how it works, but we'll get to that. Other things you can do is double tap that, and then it takes you into like a menu setting. So you've got display setting. I haven't even played with this, so I'm just looking through it as we go. I don't think there's a basic setting as well. Oh yeah, wheel 26 inch. This is interesting. I noticed that the speed might not be quite right, so we need to I think you go into that and then hit that, that's it, and then you go down to 19. You can't do 19, it's probably 20 with a tyre on anyway, but right, okay, so set that. Battery 72 volts, yeah, start password, key anti-jam, factory setting, informations, max speed 97 mile an hour, yeah, I'm sure that's right. Product information, battery information, what does that display in there? 82, oh yeah, cool. We've actually got remaining capacity. Interesting, those are greyed out though. Why would that be? Right, okay, well there's more to play around with in there anyway. But you've got this battery meter at the top, don't think the clock's right. Can probably set that easy enough. Saying I've done saying 3.1 miles there, which is obviously not right. So if you toggle through these, you've got max speed, I think that's RT means real time I suppose, average speed, and then max. Right guys, here we go then. Hopefully you can see the screen. I've got the camera angled down a bit, so you're not going to be able to see much of the road, but you'll see the hopefully see the bike. So yeah, I'm in position 1 here, showing 82 volts, pretty much fully charged this battery, and yeah, so let's just start to pull away. So first thing you notice is, I've obviously done this before because I'm just a little bit further down the road, is that it lays on a load of power really quickly to get you going, which is kind of not like the Adapto. The Adapto rolls the power very smoothly. This is like, you could pull a wheelie pretty easily if you really wanted to, which I kind of like, and I think you can adjust that. There's an adjustment setting for how quick it actually pulls away, which is definitely something I'm going to have a look at, which is sort of fine for this, but it could get you into trouble if you're, if you were trying to creep away without kind of flying off the back of the bike. So right, there you go, that's that, and then it kind of takes you through to about, this is the first setting I've got, it's taking you through to about 13-14 mile an hour. I think the speedo is showing about right now. So that's that, I'm full throttle. Now if you had briefly done this, is that bloody thing again, I've briefly done this and it's pretty insane. So let's flick on to power level 2, and you've only got to move that throttle slightly and you're right, so that's basically 2000 watts, peak 2000 watts, and then it just, Jesus, that is, I don't know where it's getting this power from, because the Adapto didn't do that. Alright, so then power level 3, probably shouldn't be doing this in the middle of a trail, but there you go. Power level 3, Christ almighty, that is bonkers. I don't know, I've only set this to like 60 and 80 amps maximum with 200 amp phase current, I think. I left most of the settings as standard. How is it doing that? It seems like this seems like it's pulling like 100 amps from kind of my experience before. That's bonkers. Let's just try a quick blip. No, I've got a river up there, I can't really do that now. I could do a little quick one and just see what it goes down to. Yeah, the voltage is dropping down to about 65 volts then. That went down to, well, 66. So that is definitely putting too much power from these batteries. Okay, right, let's just put it in neutral and just pedal around. As I say, I like this little neutral setting, it's quite good. What I'm going to do, you put it in 1. That just gets you away nicely. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up to the road rather than just ride all the way, because it's just going to be another e-bike video otherwise. I'll catch you in a second. So power level 2 seems to be kind of what I had as normal setting on my Adapto.
As I say, I need to just go into the settings because I'm pretty sure I set an absolute battery maximum of 80 amps, and this, in some of these higher settings, is going higher than that. Anyway, we're pulling, this seems to go up to about 3,000 watts or something, and then it will drop down obviously as you reach the kind of top speed, which is currently showing 30 mile an hour here. So all well and good. Hopefully it would just do this all day long. That's what I want, without overheating or getting any kind of rollback or anything like that. So yeah, you can just go for a nice little cruise. We're sitting at 78 volt battery voltage, so the battery voltage is just lovely, really, no problem at all. And then what's it going to do when we come to a hill? Is it going to just increase the power a little bit? It's gone up to 1,100. It's maintaining your 28 mile an hour. So that's kind of where it's at. It's going up a bit, yeah, 1,300, nearly 1,400 then. 27 mile an hour. Nice. So that's good. That's a nice setting. The acceleration is a bit bonkers. Maybe we can do something about that. We definitely will be able to do something about that. Okay. So let's flick it onto the next level up. Oh my god, that is you've only got to like slightly twist that throttle and it is like, oh, it's so much fun. And it's like this, it's really not practical or safe, but it is so much blooming fun having that amount of power there. But I don't know how long these batteries are going to cope with it if you do that. Let's just get around to this straight round here and then have a little play. Yeah, it's a different mindset. I'm finding myself just reaching for this key switch all the time, and you know, to turn the bike off, and then I stumble and I wonder, you know, how to turn it back on again, and everything else. There's a biker there. Right, so let's give it some beans. Cheapers creepers. Yeah, so that's going up to about 6,000 watts, which is just way too much. It's hanging around 70. Oh, I love it, absolutely love it. I love it when it's like this. But these batteries, I don't know, I mean, it's crazy, as I was saying before. Maybe they can handle it. Be interesting to see. Be an expensive mistake if they don't. But I think it's one of these things, if you're not doing it all the time, you might get away with it. But let's give it a little go up this hill and just see what happens. So yeah, it's sort of saying a couple of thousand watts. Once you're moving this sort of speed, it's kind of fine. But let's get the climb on. So give it a bit more throttle. Still holding 70 volts up the hill. It feels just a completely different bike. I mean, the adaptos are good, but I just forgotten what it was like with a Sabvoton. Considering it's pretty amazing, because considering you don't have to go through all of the ag of programming it and getting all the settings right, all the timings and everything else, it's just crazy how it just does one Hall sensor setup and then that's it, you're good to go. Let's feel the temperature of the motor up here. I can give it another blast. It goes down to about 68 volts then. I'm reaching for my little regen switch as well, which is just really annoying. I do need to figure out how to sort that out, because you can't slow down quick enough with just brakes. It just doesn't work. So even in the one setting, you get a little wheel spin. It just wouldn't happen on the adapto. So one bar down. Motor temperature, nothing. It's not even the same temperature as it is as the road. Okay, cool. So let's pull away in one. yeah, it just lunges forward quite a bit. But then it was quite shocking at first when it did that, because you know, all this stuff's configurable, guys. Anyway, I'm just using the basic settings that it came with, but of course it doesn't have to be like this at all. You can just modify it. But what was funny, let's try giving it some bean. He's going to try overtake me. I'm just going to it flipping pulls away like an absolute demon. I can't I can't tell you the feeling that it gives you. It's just punches you in the flipping stomach. Oh my god. So as I say, two's your safe setting. Keep it down there, keep it on that, and you know the battery's going to last. The other settings, they seem to just get progressively more bonkers as you get higher, so I don't really know how you configure that. You know, this has literally been done in probably like 2 or 3 hours. I've set this up, so I need to explore everything a bit more. The speedo seems about right. You've just not got much of a travel on the throttle to actually you know, give you much control. That's the problem. If I stuck about 20 amps of regen on, maybe just regen on the throttle, so you just come off the throttle and then your regen happens, I reckon we'd be about there. I reckon that would slow it down quite nicely. That's what it needs. It's just too, when you hit that speed you just can't slow down, so you know that's not really that good. There you go, guys. Anyway, that's a quick little test, and I'll catch you in a minute.
Right, I'm back. Side of the bike's off. Moment of truth. No warmth whatsoever. I just don't know how they do it. It is just amazing. Batteries, no warmth. They just, I mean, they're lukewarm. So let's just check each cell, each battery, to make sure they're all 2 bars on each. Wow, just madness. Right guys, it's a bit later now. Day is coming to a close. It's got nice and cool now. It's really nice and cool up here. When it gets to the evening, these hot days are just sweltering, but because we're out a little bit, kind of out in the middle of nowhere, it drops quite a lot. So pretty impressed with the bike. I've been doing a little bit more. I've just gone on a bit of a tangent. I've removed the key socket and the charging socket, which I'm not going to be using at the moment, and I've kind of gone over it with this carbon film. What do you reckon? I think it looks pretty smart. I did it on the side as well, so I've kind of just sharpened it up a little bit, made it look quite nice. But it's quite a good light here to show you the actual display. Yeah, so it's quite bright. I noticed there's actually a couple of settings here to actually get it a little bit dimmer. So if you hold down this button here, this plus button, you can actually, what it does is it puts it on this kind of light. See that little headlight thing? I don't know if that's designed to actually you know, connect up to headlights or anything like that, but if you do that, it kind of dims the display a bit, makes it kind of more night mode, which is quite cool. So liking that. I haven't gone back to the programming side of things yet. I'm going to leave that for tomorrow, and then sort of go into that a little bit more and see what I can do. So I hope you enjoyed the video today, guys. I feel like I've got quite a lot done today. Aside from doing the video, I've also kind of been working on stuff on the e-bike side of the website as well, so go check that out. There's more bits and pieces on there. These controllers will be on air probably by the time this video goes live, and so you know you can order these as well. Yeah, so normal things. I feel knackered, but yeah, normal things. Subscribe as usual, check me on Instagram, all that stuff, and I'll catch you in the next video.